Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. Today, talking about heat, Harley-Davidson, and a couple of stories and a couple of things I need to explain. Story number one. I'm on I-526 at 5 o'clock. Yeah, you know it. Hot sun, stop traffic. I'm cruising along, well, not really cruising along, really stop, go, and here's a motorcycle coming up onto the left of me on a 2014 or 15, I'm not quite sure, but it was one of the newer models, and it was a twin-cooled Harley-Davidson. And this gentleman looked frustrated. I could tell underneath the helmet he had had enough. His motorcycle had turned on the engine idle temperature management system, which you can kind of hear the difference. The idle starts sounding a little rougher. Well, he'd have no part of that. Either he was from the old school days or he was just taking his frustration out, but he was just blipping the throttle. All right, wah, 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 wah. I'm gonna get through this traffic and I'm gonna keep this motorcycle running. Here's where I need to explain something to you. Harley-Davidson designed the engine idle temperature management system to help cool your Harley-Davidson. Now, we've explained this system in the past, but let me just bring it up. When the engine idle temperature management system kicks in, one, it starts adding a little fuel. It gets a little richer. You might smell that from the back of the muffler. Two, it starts lowering the idle, trying to get the motorcycle to produce less heat. And then when it finally hits over 284 degrees, it shuts off the rear cylinder for a couple of reasons. One, all right, it's hot between your legs, so let's shut the motorcycle off where it's between your legs. Two, the motor's still running, so the rear cylinder isn't firing, but it's still working. It's working like an air pump, and it's cooling the motor because it has less heat production and it's trying to circulate the oil. It's doing everything it can to try to cool the motorcycle down. Now, Harley-Davidson put in the design that the minute you roll on the throttle, let the clutch out, the second cylinder kicks back in and you go. If you're doing this, it's confusing it, and all you're doing is adding more heat to the motorcycle. Now, granted, old school, old days, big S&S carburetor, every time you did the throttle, you were squirting in fresh fuel and it was helping to cool the motor. Well, with fuel injection, you're only gonna get as much fuel as the motor needs. So all you're doing is creating more heat, and you're suffering and the motorcycle's suffering. So if you're going to use the engine idle temperature management system, let it do its job. Yes, it sounds a little funny in traffic. It sounds like your motorcycle is going to die, but it won't, and it's helping your motorcycle. Now, if you're worried about, okay, when the traffic starts clearing, I want to be able to get my spot, just roll the throttle on. It'll start the second cylinder and you'll go fine. You'll hardly know the difference, and both of you will be a little bit cooler. All right, second story. We're talking about this model, the twin-cooled Harley-Davidson. Here's a story I got. A group was riding this past weekend, 95, 98 degrees. They pull into a fast food place, and the gentleman that owns the twin-cooled Harley-Davidson pulls up, parks his motorcycle, gets off, and goes to make his order. The motorcycle's still running. He's up in line, and some of the guys in the group yell up, "Yo, you left your motorcycle on." He says, "Don't worry about it. It's a twin-cooled Harley." I think we need to explain something here. Twin-cooled, it doesn't mean because it's a two-cylinder. It's twin-cooled. The heads, the top part of the motor, has the radiators and the cooling system, and it's flowing water and antifreeze back and forth to keep the heads cool. The cylinders, the motor, transmission, that's air cooled. That's the twin part. You have fluid for the top of the heads where the combustion is happening, but your cylinders and pistons and the rest of the motor need the air traveling over it. So, since you need that, and plus the radiators do need the air coming even though they do have fans, you need to be moving. If you're not moving, if you're parked, shut the motorcycle off. Let's give your motorcycle the best chance. Now, the added little funny story to that second one was when the guy said, hey, turn off your motorcycle. He yelled back, and he didn't want to lose his place in line. He said, don't worry about it. Warranty will cover it. Warranty doesn't cover stupidity, all right? Let's take care of the motorcycle. Let's know what you got and treat it with respect. I'm Doc Harley. We'll see you next time.